as a fisherman, do you ever wonder what the fish are doing, how they're acting, and what they are thinking under the surface? Well, in today's video, we're going to be finding out exactly that. So some of y'all know I do indeed have not one, but 2 backyard bass ponds. I've built them both on the channel. I will have all those videos linked below and how I built them and how I stocked them and all that stuff. They're really cool videos. I'd love if y'all check them out. So basically, I stocked these ponds after we built them with some crazy aggressive largemouth bass, panfish, bluegill, all sorts of crazy predatory species that we have here native in South Texas. And over the years, it's been so incredible to watch those fish literally every day grow and how they act, and it's just so awesome. However, obviously looking from them above like we do when we're typically fishing is so cool. But I was really thinking, I wonder how cool it would be to stick some cameras under the surface of my ponds and really watch the fish and how they act and kind of pick up on their routines. And that is exactly what we're gonna do in today's video. I stuck a camera underwater in both of the backyard bass ponds, and after a couple hours of going through the footage, I found some absolutely insane clips that were just mind-blowing to me. It was pretty cool. We also got some sick blow-ups in slow motion, so make sure you'll stay tuned for that. If you do enjoy the video, I'd love if you'd smash that subscribe button. Let's get into it. So starting off here in the newer backyard bass pond we've built, you can see the second largest bass that I have in between all the ponds cruising around here. And one thing I noticed instantly after reviewing the footage was how interesting it was that these fish were really curious with the cameras. Like, they were coming up and looking at the GoPros. They didn't know how they would react to them, but they really did. They were curious. You can see it's very clear water as well, so we got some really cool footage of them checking them out. And right away here, I caught this bass right here doing something pretty crazy I've never seen a bass do in my ponds. You can see him kind of kick off from his spot there, and he kind of rubs his side against one of the rocks. And I didn't know exactly what he was doing here. He kind of spun around, checked out the camera, and then he actually swam back over and kind of did the exact same thing, except this time he did it along the rock. You can see him do it here. And then he turned over and rubbed kind of up against the log here. And I don't know exactly what this is. Maybe it's them scratching their back. I don't know. Throwing the camera into the other backyard bass pond here. This is the first one that we built. A little bit smaller, but it's really got a lot of room here. And one thing I thought it was pretty cool is right as I stuck my GoPros in, you could see that one of the bass here is checking it out. He was definitely very curious, kind of checking out the situation. Here comes one of our big pet bluegill chasing off the bass, which I thought was pretty cool. That bass is 3 times the size of that panfish. But bluegill are known for being aggressive, and well, that guy didn't want him around. Here's a head-on view of that bluegill swimming right at us, and you can see kind of rest right above the camera. His favorite spot that bluegill is always hanging out is right above the camera. Right here, you can see the bluegill doing something kind of interesting. I don't know what exactly he's doing here. I don't know if he's trying to spit something up or ate something he didn't like. I don't know, but I thought it was kind of weird. Just kind of shook his head there. Kind of cool to see, though. Right here, a lot of people don't know, but fish do indeed yawn. That's right, that was a bluegill yawn right there. Hey, fish get tired just like us. Back over to the backyard bass pond, and you can see here, if I zoom in, that the bass is directly under the waterfall, which is very interesting because it's a known fact that fish love aeration. They love, cool, fresh water coming into their body of water. That's why when you're out fishing, the best spot a lot of times, if you're fishing a big lake or a reservoir, is to find where a creek or a spring is trailing in fresh water, and a lot of times there will be big fish under those bodies of water entering other bodies of water, because it just creates a lot of aeration. It creates a lot of cool water and water movement coming into the body of water. You can see him kind of checking out the shallow end here. I have a feeling he's looking for some of those little mini minnows in the backyard bass pond, trying to pick one off. And one thing I thought was very interesting, after going through hours of footage, 95% of where this bass spent his time was along this one log. And that's just a very also known fact that fish love structure. And even in my backyard bass pond with all this open water and room, he spent, like I said, like 95, almost 100% of his time around or within the general area of this long log going through the pond. Right here, you got a cool clip of a bunch of the mini minnows go by on the camera. Those bass are definitely picking those things off, especially at night. can see right here, the bass kind of comes in, checks out the camera. Once again, I just think it's so cool that it got so up close and personal with the camera, and you can see how just healthy that bass truly is. I've had this bass for, man, I don't know, 3-4 years now. I can't believe we've had him that long, but he's just so healthy, so pretty. So a little challenge here. Can you spot the bass? That's right, this largemouth bass is somewhere along here. Pause it if you need to. Go ahead and zoom in here. That is right, that bass is right there under the waterfall. You can barely see him. That just shows how much fish camouflage into their natural habitat. Back over to the other backyard bass pond here, and I stuck my hands underwater, kind of moving around to see if I could get this bass to have a sort of reaction strike like you would try to with a moving bait or a lure, and sure enough, I triggered something in him, and you could see him kind of come and checking it out, and then all of a sudden, he decided he was going to try and hit it, and I got my hands out of the way just in time to not get bitten, but you can see him kind of down in that grass, just like how they would in nature, you know, ready to ambush. He's kind of hidden in that grass mat, and then all of a sudden he decides he wants it. And like I said, like the first time, I was able to get my hands out just in time to get him out of the way. But just so cool to see these fish, how they act, you know, that reaction they get. And like I promised, we are not gonna end this video without an epic slow motion blow up. So you can see right here, I throw in a big old grasshopper. He is alive, but they get kind of stunned when they hit the water. And at first that bass kind of swims away. You don't really see him. He, you know, appears to be gone, but if you watch in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you will see his head right there kind of come back out of the shadows. He's checking out that grasshopper, and he decides to go in for it. And just check this out. How awesome is that? He just slurps it in. Man, that is just so freaking awesome. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit crazy and different, but like I said in the intro, I just thought it'd be so cool to put some cameras underwater and really get into the eyes of the fish, if you will. It's, you know, fishing is by far my biggest, I call it a hobby, but I really like to call it a lifestyle. Like, fishing has just always been something that I love, and it always will be. But it's not just the fishing that gets me excited. I really like to look at the fish, and it's like how a hunter likes to look at a deer. You know, it's just really cool to me to think about how these fish are acting in their natural environments and what these fish are thinking when they're hitting your lure and all that. And it's just so cool to be able to observe these fish up close in my ponds. So I just thought it was really cool to get some cameras underwater and really get up close and personal with them. So thank y'all so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, I'd love it if you'd smash that subscribe button. Our goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year, before 2024. I know that sounds pretty ambitious, but I think we can get there. In fact, I know we can get there. Thank y'all so much. I'll see you on the next fishing adventure. Until next time, peace out.